What's good, y'all, man? We're back again with another video. Today, preseason has ramped up. We're finally getting some good games, some good matchups. So I decided to just come in here and talk about some games, make a couple overreactions, because that's what you do in the preseason overall. So to start off, we had the 76ers versus Nets game. You know the narrative behind that. Seeing Ben Simmons come back for the first time in about a year. Seeing him going against his old team. The one thing that made me mad is, of course, the game you want to rest your guys is against Ben Simmons, Doc Rivers. All of a sudden, Embiid and James Harden need rest. That's kind of lame and corny to me. But it's preseason. I'm not really mad at it. But in that first half, I love the way the 76ers were looking as far as their depth, because that's what they was playing. Basically, it was just Tyrese Maxey and a bunch of role players. I'll put Tobias up there. Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris and a bunch of role players. And their role players were doing what they needed to do. Hit their shots and just play defense. And that's what it looked like. I think even in my video about the 76ers, I didn't even talk about DeAnthony Milton. That's how long this offseason has been. I forgot they even got him. And that's a really good trade. He came in, played really good defense, hit a couple threes. The one thing I never really liked about him is sometimes he kind of gets out of his role, and he kind of did that today, trying to create his own shot, when that's just not him. He can do it at times, but it's not really DeAnthony Milton. But he was still hitting a lot of clutch shots today. Furkan Korkmaz came in and hit a couple shots. Isaiah Joe, I hope they actually play him this year. He's a sniper. You need snipers next to Joel Embiid and James Harden. That's a perfect fit for y'all. Montrezl Harrell came in and did what he usually does, is bring the intensity. And he got a couple buckets too. He drew a lot of fouls, and that's something we're going to talk about with that Brooklyn Nets center rotation. But other than that, he drew a lot of fouls. And then Tyrese Maxey in the first quarter, driving 14 points in like 7 minutes. He was as dominant as it gets, and then he started running a pick and roll with him and Paul Reed, and that shit just looked so smooth. It was one time where he was at the top on the right side of the on the right side of the three-point line, and Paul Reed was right at the free throw line on the elbow. He gave it to Paul Reed, ran around the screen, and Paul Reed gave it right back. And he ran around the screen again. Paul Reed gave it back, and then he ran around the screen and he pulled up for a three. For two. I'm like, God damn, that shit was so fast, but it was so fluid. And whoever was guarding it, I don't remember it. They just couldn't guard it because Tyrese is just fucking fast. But they look really good. Tobias looked kind of decent. And I can't wait to see what they look like fully healthy. But on the other side of the ball, we finally got to see the big three play against each other. And it started off kind of rocky. It started off just what they were doing. It just looked kind of sloppy. Especially when we got the Ben Simmons by himself moments, which I don't like Ben Simmons solely by himself. And you're also playing him with Royce O'Neal, and I'm watching him dribble the ball. Like, that should never be something I have to watch. Play him with like Cam Thomas. I don't know if Cam Thomas has been doing good in the training camp, that's why he didn't get those minutes, but play him with another bucket getter that can also help him out. But even in those minutes, the one thing I missed from Ben Simmons this game, because I felt like he had a decent game in his time, I felt like his defense presence was there. It was down by 20 at one point, and him and Kyrie on defense, they led them to come back and go on a 15-0 run. But at times, Ben Simmons' impact on the offensive side wasn't felt as far as being aggressive. He had a couple post-ups when he wanted to post up the ball, and those were fun to watch, even though he missed the shot completely. But other than that, it just, at times, he was a little bit too passive. And I don't want to fall back into that. I want to see an aggressive Ben Simmons. One that said was the best player in training camp one day. Like, I want to see that Ben Simmons. And the fact that I didn't get to see that, that was why I say for his first game back, his grade is like a C+. Because on defense, he was actually really good. Passing, like, he was doing the shit that Ben Simmons do. But I wanted to see stuff that we don't see Ben Simmons do often, and that's being aggressive. So that's something that was missing from right there. But other than Ben Simmons, Kyrie kind of made his presence felt on the defensive side, diving on the floor a lot. A little bit too much for a preseason game, but he was diving on the floor a lot. And I'm expecting that throughout the season, because he has said in multiple interviews, even on that Twitch interview with Kai and Bruce and your age, he said he wants to be more locked in on defense, and that's what it looked like. So he was really locked in. KD was KD. Don't really need to see much. Joe Harris missed his first couple shots and started hitting his shots. They didn't have Seth Curry, but when he comes back, he's going to be pretty decent. Now, the center position, they fouled too much. Day'Ron Sharpe, he's not even ready to be a backup. He was in everybody's way. He was in one possession where he was in Ben Simmons' way, and Ben Simmons was like, move, and he didn't know what to do. So He might be too young for that role. I think they should go out there and get Boogie. I think Boogie would be a really good addition for that backup center position. But their center rotation. Nicholas Claxton looked decent as far as in the pick and roll, especially with Kyrie, because Kyrie was diamond today. He was diamond. Also, KD was too. But other than that, Nicholas Claxton, I'm not a huge fan at all. So just looking at this team as a whole, the Nets team, they look really good. But I don't know, man. I just made my Nets video earlier, right? And I felt like just looking at the team, I was like, they can beat anybody. And I still kind of believe that, but like, this is an overreaction, of course, but that center position is just, that shit is bad. And my video also said they might make a change down the line, might make a trade that we don't know that's in the horizon, which still can be true, but as of right now, what I just seen, that center position is going to hurt them. That center position is going to hurt them. But overall, I think they actually might be a good defensive team just off the perimeter defenders that they do have and off the leaders that they do have, because I still believe that KD and Kyrie are going to be locked in on defense this year. KD's been locked in on defense for the last couple of years, and we know how good of a defender Ben Simmons is and how he can anchor a defense. And he looked damn good today. I think it's going to take him some time, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they kind of speed this up a little bit and they go on a run like right in the beginning of the season, because they fit perfectly. It's just about learning to play with one another, learning where this player wants the ball and all that stuff. And I see Ben Simmons was struggling with that at some points, but at other points he was setting the right screens, making the right passes. That pass to Royce O'Neal in the corner when he hit his first shot, that shit was beautiful. So I'm excited for this next team, but I'm also scared because that center position is bad. The game we got going on right now is the Thunder versus the Nuggets. That was actually really fun to watch because in that first half, Michael Porter Jr. was going crazy. Now that game's still going on, and I don't know what's happening, but in that first half, Michael Porter Jr. was going crazy. I'm buying all the stock. I already had a lot of stock, but I started to listen to a lot of people, and I was like, you know what? Maybe what we see from Michael Porter Jr. is what we're going to get. I still think it's a lot more in Michael Porter Jr.'s game that we might get down the line. So I'm buying all the stock right now. Jamal Murray looked way more twitchier and way more faster. That's why I don't like injuries. Going to suck for that year, especially the big ones. They're going to suck for that year. But I don't expect the player to come back and shell of himself. Like, we only seen that once in the last couple of years. And that's Boogie. And even that, Boogie just didn't get the order. He had it twice in a row, actually. So, like, come on now. Like, the fact that Clay's still the same thing, I don't know. I don't know, but that's the only time we see one person come back from a big injury in the last couple of years and just not be himself. But Jamal Murray looked pretty good in that first half. Real twitchy, real fast. The shot looked decent. He had some couple moves. I was like, oh shit. He still got it. Kentavious missed his shots, but like that was gonna fall soon. I like how aggressive Aaron Gordon was in the beginning of the game. That was because he had Poku on him, and like that's Poku, no offense. Jokic was just chilling. Then on the other side of the ball, my boy Jalen Williams. It sucks that he's not a Cavalier, but he had 7 quick points. Same thing with Trey Mann. Trey Mann got a top 5 step back in the league because he just stops on one foot and then goes back, and it's just so quick and it's so fluid. I don't know how much he had, but I know he had double digits in that first half. Same thing with Ben Simmons. I want to see Josh Giddey be more aggressive. He was passing a lot. He is the number 1 option on this team. When Shea not there, I want to see him way more aggressive. Other than that, they was thunder. Then the last game, well, there's 2 more games I want to talk. I already actually talked about the Warriors game, but the Suns lost to the 36ers. Yes, I said the 36ers. Now, a lot of people just blew that. I didn't really give a fuck. One nigga on the 36ers hit 9 threes. One had 16 assists. Just tip your hat off. Good game, y'all. Maybe one of y'all earned an NBA contract off of that, but like, even in the first half, the Suns were getting fucked up. But like, I'm not buying into that. I still think the Suns one of the best teams we have in the West, so I don't really care about that. But the Memphis Grizzlies game, it was against the Magic, and that's pretty bad. But Ja looked really good. I can't even lie. Ja looked really fucking good on both sides too. And if we get Ja on both sides, then a lot of rankings is going to change, bro. If we get Ja on both sides, but he was actually playmaking way better than I've seen in a long time from Ja. And the one thing he has is that whole Derrick Rose thing where he likes to make a lot of passes in the air. But like he even does it better than Derrick Rose because he's just, I think he's just a better passer than Derrick Rose. But Ja, yeah, he looked really fucking good, really dominant too. It's against RJ Hampton, so like how, what the fuck you supposed to do? But he looked really good, bro. And the whole team, they're gonna miss Jaren Jackson. I can say that though. They're going to miss Jaren Jackson because that paint presence just wasn't there, even with them playing the Magic. But they're gonna be decent. Like I said, I still have them making a play, and Ja gonna have to do a lot for them to be what they were last year, and I just don't think he can or will do that. But other than that, man, that's the only reactions I really got. We had those whole Warriors games the last week. I'm ending this bitch soon because Kawhi is playing right now. Now watching Ja Morant against I gotta keep emphasizing that, against the against the Orlando Magic. And he was close to it last year. And like I said, if he wants to win, if this team wants to replicate what they did last year, he has to play at MVP level. Do I see that happening? I don't think it's that far of a reach. I think that can happen. I mean, we're looking at Ja. He's top 15, top 20 player in the league, and he's 22. So that jump can happen. He already averages the stats, and he already has the impact. They just have to win in this gritty West, and that's something that I think is going to be hard. But with him, the leader that he is, and with the depth that they always have these random guys. They're like the Raptors. They just pick random guys and just build them up. And they kind of doing that with John Conchar. I'm not even going to act like I know other dude's name. I think his number 7. Tall. I don't want to say Indian, but like Middle Eastern dude. Like he just looked different. Pause. But like even he's decent. He was a good 3-and-D wing. He had a couple shots today. He had a couple dunks today. He looked really good. Like they just find these players out of nowhere and just build them up. So with Ja at the top, I don't think they can replicate what they did last year as far as 55, 56 wins. But I think he can play at an MVP level this year. He might be a dark horse. He might be. That's an overreaction, yeah. But just the way he looked today, he looked real good, real confident. Again, emphasizing, get some magic, but he looked really good. That's